Have you ever edited your photos on Lightroom on your computer, then tried to send it to your phone and the colors or the contrast is completely off? Or what about when you go to post that photo to Instagram, it's compressed or blurry and it just isn't as sharp as everyone else's photos? This can be extremely frustrating as photographers, designers, video creators. And in this video, I'm gonna be walking you guys specifically through my Lightroom process. Everything from importing, editing, exporting and getting it to my phone and uploading to Instagram in hopes that you guys can learn a thing or two about how I get color accurate transitions from my computer to my phone, as well as uncompressed, sharp, beautiful images when I post to social media. This video has been sponsored by BenQ, who sent me this beautiful monitor to showcase to you guys my workflow process, and we'll get into a little bit why I love this monitor later on in the video. Now, simply put, when it comes to posting to social media or Instagram specifically, many of you are actually just looking for this one setting, so I'm gonna get into that right away. Now, for most of you, this is actually going to be a really quick fix. You can just go into your Instagram, you go onto your own account, up to the top right corner into settings, and then you're gonna scroll down until you see media quality. There's a setting here called upload at highest quality. Make sure you have that toggled on. This could be honestly the one thing stopping you from uploading your content at the highest quality possible. Now, if you need a little bit more information than just that, I'm gonna walk you guys through my entire editing process, so let's dive in. So the first thing that I do when I'm finished a project is I import my SD card, and I use an SSD hard drive to keep all of my data, and then later on I transfer that data over to a much larger hard drive that becomes my kind of warehouse of information. So you can see here I've got a 2 terabyte hard drive, and I start by having one big projects folder, and inside of that I kind of label everything into its own project, starting with the year, the month, and the day, and then I name that folder whatever you want. Inside of that folder, I have all my footage, all of my photos. This way, any project that I work on, when I transfer it over to the other hard drive, it all stays in the same place. If you're a video worker as well, this kind of helps you keep all your projects in the same place when your video DAWs are looking for all those files, they'll all be in this one folder. Now, the project we're working on today, I was sent by Shell to Italy to a project with Ferrari. If you guys want to watch that video, I'll link it up here. It was truly a once in a lifetime experience, but they sent me over 3,000 photos that I have to edit. So I put all those photos into one folder. The way I get these photos into Lightroom is I click and I drag all of these photos, so you can hit Command A and it will select all those photos, or drag this folder down into your Lightroom. And the way I do that is you just click, hold, and drag it down and drop it onto your Lightroom. This is how you can import all those photos. Now, I use Lightroom Classic rather than Lightroom CC because I don't tend to use the Creative Cloud too much. But on the left side here, you can see the hard drive, which is my 2 terabyte hard drive here. And then you can see all the projects that I've worked on. The reason that I organize it this way is because later on when I want to go and re-find these photos, or that I've transferred them to my other hard drives, you can see them kind of blacked out here. It's really easy to transfer these folders or to relink those files to a different folder. So this is an easy way for me to do it. If you guys have other solutions, fantastic. I'd love to hear in the comments down below. Now, the way that I start by selecting my photos is by flagging them. So you can flag photos, you can unflag photos, and you can reject photos. So depending on how many photos you're going through, you might want to reject your photos. Once you have enough rejected photos, by hitting X on that photo, you can then go through and mass delete off your disk, so you're not taking up a massive amount of space on your computer. So after you go through, you hit P if you want to flag a photo as a select, and you hit U if you want to unflag that photo. Then on the right side here, you'll see filters. So I click on the flagged. These are the photos that I know are usable, ones where eyes aren't closed, the image isn't blurry, so on and so forth. Once I start to find photos that I actually want to work on and edit, these are going to be the ones that I actually post to Instagram. I start using star ratings. So you can star rate anything from 1 to 5 stars using the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 key, and the 0 key will X off all the stars. So the ones that I want to use, I tend to flag with 5 stars. So I can go over here and select the ones that I have picked as photos I want to edit. Another way that you can organize your photos is with colors. A lot of people like to use this. I don't use it a ton, but if it's something you want to use, you can go through and use the number 6 to go red, 7 will go yellow, 8 will go green, 9 will go blue, and if you just press those again, it'll remove the color organization. So this is another great way to organize your photos. So there's a few different ways depending on your preference. Now, the 5-star photos are the ones I'm gonna edit and just crush out and make sure that these are my best looking photos. I sometimes will tend to also, once I'm done editing them, reflag them or restar them as a 4-star. It'll put it in a bit of a different bin so that when I want to go and take my favorite edits, I just hit the 4 stars, go and select those 4-star images, export those, and those are the ones I'm going to use. There's a bunch of different tabs in here you can use, so you can even change which way you rate them. So you can see these are all my 4-star edits that I wanted to get out. You can also change to it being lesser than or greater than or equal to. Additionally, you'll see your flags here. So there's a flagged, there's unflagged, and then there's your rejected pile here. But we also need to deselect any of the rated or starred ratings. So here you can see all of my rejected photos. These are photos that are blown out or never going to use, etc. So you can just hit Command All. You can then hit Delete. And then you have the option to either just remove it from Lightroom so it's out of your way, less messy, or you can delete from disk. So depending on what you're doing in the project that you have, you can save space on your hard drives, which I highly recommend. Most of the time you should be shooting in RAW all the time. So this will save you a ton of space as you're filling up your hard drives or your desktop space. When it comes to my editing process and how I export these for social media specifically, there's really one tool that I want to teach you guys in the editing here. Otherwise, I have a ton of playlists. You guys can go watch some of my favorite ways to edit cars in Lightroom. There's a ton of content there for you. But over here, I want you guys to notice one thing. We're going to scroll down to the sharpening option or the detail option here. Now, in RAW photos, you'll tend to have 40 already on your sharpening amount. But what's very important is you're gonna come to the masking option here. What this is gonna do is if you just drag your masking up and you actually hold your option key and you drag that up, what you can see in the white lines is what's being sharpened. What's in the black is no longer being sharpened. It tends to start over here, which means that everything in your image is going to be sharpened. You don't necessarily want that if you have a grainy image. This way, we're just sharpening the edges of whatever our subject is. In this case, it is a beautiful Ferrari 296 GTB that I got to drive. Video's up here. So make sure that when you're masking your photos, you can drag up your sharpening as much as you want. This way though, you're only going to be sharpening the edges and not sharpening the grain or the dirt or any of that stuff in your images. So this is a huge part of the process for me when I'm going to export. A lot of people will also use clarity or texture. I tend to not actually use those tools a whole lot, if at all. Sometimes I'll even take those things away. Now, when it comes to getting color accurate images, it's actually really crucial that your monitor is color calibrated appropriately. Now, BenQ sent me their 4K 32-inch design monitor, and this thing is color calibrated perfectly out of the box to make sure that it looks amazing on all your devices. It's made specifically for content creators, designers, or graphic designers, or anyone that needs really, really color accurate images. And what I like about it specifically and what I needed it for is that it actually functions well with my MacBook. My MacBook has beautiful colors to it, and this was designed specifically to have matching colors with my MacBook. With this little control dial here, you can really easily pick which color you want. And for me, you can see here, I have my MacBook color selected. So I know that it's gonna sync perfectly with my MacBook and ultimately with my iPhone as well. It has all kinds of selectable color profiles, whether you're a video worker, a photographer, a designer, graphic designer, and all easily selectable with this control dial and puck. Because I'm really integrated into the Apple ecosystem, having a monitor that also can plug in really easily with the Thunderbolt cable keeps my Mac charged, and it keeps all the data actually flowing really seamlessly between my laptop that's down here and the monitor. So it's a really seamless and easy to integrate system. Not only that, it looks amazing. Like, the bezels are so minimal. The 32-inch screen means that I have a ton of real estate to view my photos. It also has like a bit of a matte finish to it, which in my office I've got a ton of lights, so it also reduces any of the glares and reflections. The design is really great in that it can move up and down really easily. I can move it all the way down here. I have a really minimal looking desk, so this keeps it looking really sharp, really minimal. You can pivot the screen a whole bunch of different ways, up and down, and it even goes completely vertical, which is a lot of fun if you like using your monitors like that. So if you guys are having a difficult time getting color matched images from your computer to your phone and your devices, I highly recommend checking out BenQ. They make a ton of monitors designed for content creators and people like you and me that need to make sure that our images look sharp, they look color accurate. So I'll leave a link down below for you guys. You can go check out a bunch of their monitors. This particular monitor is the PD3225U, but they have a ton of incredible monitors for all different use cases. Again, this one just integrates really well into my ecosystem. But let's get into the final thing, which could be your export settings in Lightroom. So when you've got your final selects here, I've got my 8 photos down here. I'm gonna hit Command A to select all. You come up to the top left corner, we're gonna hit export. The first thing you need to do is pick your export location. For me, I'm gonna go back into my root folder, and then you can build a folder in here, hit new folder, whatever. Just pick a folder that you want these to go into, and then I'm gonna put these in my deliverables for Shell. Next thing you do is name your file. So I have mine custom name and sequence. You name it whatever you need to, start number, etc. Now, the most important thing that I do is actually down here in the image resizing. I like to resize my images to PPI, or pixels per inch, at 300 resolution. Now, this is mostly important if you're actually doing printing. When it comes to social media, this isn't actually that important, but if I'm ever going to use these photos outside of social media, I make sure to have this at 300. So I just kind of leave this setting at 300. You can either not limit your file size at all, but for me, when I'm posting to social media, I'm only going to export at 2000K. So I limit my file size. So I limit my file size to 2000K. What this means is hopefully when you import that photo to Instagram, it's not having to take this massive file and then it chooses how much it's going to compress it. We're trying to take the perfect size image and just place it into Instagram. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I know the perfect number here, but this is how I've been doing it, and you guys have been asking me a lot how I get these perfectly sharp images. Now these are my export settings. Once you have your photos exported in your file, the way that I get these over to my phone is I select all, I hit share, and I do airdrop to my phone. It's a lossless way of transporting all these photos over to my phone, and it's really seamless to get it over to my photos. From there, it's really as simple as just adding those photos into Instagram and hitting post. Make sure that your settings in Instagram are exactly how we had it set earlier, making sure that you're uploading the highest quality media possible. I hope you guys have found this helpful in terms of my post-work process. If you guys are struggling to get clean images from the get-go out of your camera, I've actually built a course directly for you guys. If you're not shooting in manual mode on your camera, if you're letting your camera make creative decisions for you, which is ending up with having grainy photos or blurry images, then I built a course to help you guys take back creative control of your camera by teaching you essentially the basics of everything you need to know about your camera. It doesn't matter if you're shooting on a film camera, a digital camera, an APS-C camera, or a full frame camera. The concepts are the same for any camera that you guys are using. So I'll link that course down below. The first 50 people to sign up for this course using Early Bird 30 promo code will get a discounted price. After that, it goes back up to normal price, but I think this course is going to help out a lot of content creators that actually want to use this as a business. I think it's essential that you understand the tool that you have in your hand. I built this course because one YouTube video, generally I can't dive into enough information to give you guys what you need. So hopefully you guys can dive into that and learn a thing or two as well. I hope you guys found this helpful. I really do appreciate your time, and I do hope I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.